Morning, your college. As said before, my name is Caleb Smith. My nickname is Moose. I need to explain this too. So he said my nickname is Moose. That's true. Because whenever I get up, I hear woo. I'm 50% sure not everyone's booing me. So just know that before we start. I love coming back here. I love coming back to see what's changed. I love coming back to see like the community that's still here. I also love coming back and pretending not to be bitter about a lot of things. Because while I'm busy combing my hair sideways so it looks like I have a full head of hair, you guys are going to like these awesome concerts. You guys have new like McGee, oh, the spot. You guys have, oh, viral videos, cool, yeah. I might just be like a little jealous. Just know that before we begin. But I love being back here at your college. I wouldn't change my time here for anything. And I hope you guys feel the same way or are learning to feel the same way. To begin this morning, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a quick story. This begins, it's a two-part story. So my wife, my beautiful, perfect, wonderful, flawless wife, one day decided to go for a weekend trip to visit family. So the one thing you need to know here is that she hung up her heated blanket on my side of the bed on the window. Okay, weird start, I know, but just bear with me. So there's that part. Part number two. Because she was gone, I decided to have like a youth group hangout at my house, like a little lock-in full of guys. So we were watching scary movies and hanging out. We watched The Conjuring 2, really good movie. But there's one part you need to know here. There is a character, and it takes the form of a nun, like a super evil nun. So it's scary for a lot of reasons. But that's what you need to know. That's part two. So after the movie, it's like 2 in the morning, and that's pretty late for me. So I walk upstairs and I just flop straight on the bed. I don't even look at anything. I just go right to bed. 4:30 in the morning, there's a very loud noise. And I wake up, kind of startled. I kind of tilt my head up, and I don't see or hear anything else. I was like, huh, weird. So I turn my head the other way, and I roll over in bed, and I see this. Now, this might not look like much to you. At 4:30 in the morning with the lights off, that is a nun that is beckoning me towards death. And for like one brief moment, it was the most scared I've ever been in my entire life. I prayed to God. I said, I'm sorry for showing this scary movie to these kids. I'm sorry this is the end for me. Forgive me, Father. And then, I can't express to you how terrified I was. But I want you guys to remember that image. This specific feeling about this whole nun thing, yeah, but I want you to remember for a moment, maybe not the scared to death part, but this question. When was the last time that you were pushed beyond all reason of humanity? When was the last time you were so amazed at something that it was beyond words? Especially concerning God. When was the last time you were so in awe of what God has done for you? I think of the song, I Stand in Awe. It's a favorite song of mine because usually if you don't agree to stand beforehand, there's always that like awkward squat until you make sure people are standing up. So it's like, I squat in awe of you. When was the last time you actually stood in awe of what God has done for you? Because here's the problem. We live in a different world today. There are so many things happening all the time that we consider amazing, and not in a good way. Not in a way that we think is amazing as in it's so cool, but I am amazed that something like this could happen today. And the more times that happens, the more times we start getting confused about where God is. So when was the last time you truly stood in awe of God? I have some stories and examples for you. If you brought your Bibles by chance, go to Luke 9:37-45. This is a story I want to read to you. The next day, when they came down from the mountain, a large crowd met him. A man in the crowd called out, "Teacher, I beg you to look at my son, for he is my only child. A spirit seizes him. He suddenly comes and screams. He throws him into convulsions so that he foams at the mouth. It scarcely ever leaves him, and it's destroying him. I begged your disciples to drive it out, but they could not." "Oh, unbelieving and perverse generation," Jesus replied, "how long shall I stay with you and put up with you? Bring your son here." Even while the boy was coming, the demon threw him to the ground to a convulsion, but Jesus rebuked the evil spirit, healed the boy, and gave him back to his father. And they were all amazed at the greatness of God. See, if this happened today with my kids, that's how they act on a Wednesday night. But I had this idea of when was the last time we had a miracle like this? When were you so amazed at the incredible works of God? There are more examples. Matthew 9, they're amazed at a mute man who could speak because of Jesus. Matthew 21, they're amazed at a fig tree withering. Acts 7, Stephen's talking about Moses and how he was amazed at this burning bush. In Mark 15, Pilate was amazed that Jesus didn't respond. 1 John 3, don't be amazed if the world hates you and treats you bad. In Galatians 1, Paul's amazed that this church is dabbling in other faiths. All these examples use the same word in Greek. The word is thaumazo, which means to marvel, to wonder at, to be pushed to the brink of human understanding. When was the last time for you? Because the bad part is it's not always good. Listen to this story, Mark 6. Jesus left there and went to his hometown, accompanied by his disciples. When the Sabbath came, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were amazed. Where did this man get these things, they asked? What's this wisdom that has been given him, that he even does miracles? Isn't this the carpenter? Isn't this Mary's son and brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon? Aren't his sisters here with us? They took offense at him. Jesus said to them, only in his hometown among his relatives, in his own house as a prophet without honor. He could not do any miracles there, except lay his hands on a few sick people and heal them. And he was amazed at their lack of faith. It's not always good. How would you feel being the person that Jesus is amazed at because you didn't have the faith for him? He couldn't even do the miracles he wanted because there was no faith. So we're going to ask, when was the last time you stood in amazement at the God that is serving you right now? When was the last time? The world is amazing, and not in a good way. A couple weeks ago in Omaha, at Burke High School, a 16-year-old kid took a knife, went into school, and tried to kill a 15-year-old girl because they broke up and they used to be dating. My youth group kid was in the room that happened in. And I was like, this is unbelievable, this is amazing. But not in a good way. Because the more that this kind of stuff happens every single day, the less we see the amazing God does, because these things are a lot louder. Unless you step in. Unless you would show the world what God's amazing acts look like, because I promise you, God is working even now. The same God that split a sea, the same God that spoke through a bush, the same God that sent his son to die, the same God is working in your life as we speak. That is amazing. That is thaumazo. That's worth marveling at. So when was the last time you stopped and said, God has done too much for me to understand? Too many times I've had a day where I didn't even think about this. Where awe and wonder and amazement was the last thing on my mind. But God is always there anyways. So think about that for a moment. One more story. A very important story. Go to Matthew chapter 8, starting in verse 5. When Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him asking for help. Lord, he said, my servant lies at home, paralyzed and in terrible suffering. Jesus said to him, I'll go and heal him. The centurion replied, Lord, I don't deserve to have you come under my roof, but just say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes, and that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard this, he was astonished, and said to those following him, I tell you the truth, I have not found anyone in Israel with such great faith. I say to you that many will come from the east and the west. They'll take their places at the feast of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the subjects of the kingdom will be thrown outside in the darkness. There is weeping and gnashing of teeth. And Jesus said to the centurion, go, it will be done just as you believed it would. And the servant was healed at that very hour. So here's the thing. The centurion comes to Jesus and says, dude, I have this servant and I need him to be healed. Just say the word. He didn't even say come. He just said, I don't deserve to have you in my house. Just say the word. It's going to be done. And Jesus was astonished. It's a quick question for you. A theological question. Can you give God the chills? I love giving the chills. I love watching like Lord of the Rings because every second I'm just, ugh. Can you give God the chills? Can you surprise God? Can you astonish God? Some say no because he knows everything. Yeah, that's fine. But here, Jesus was astonished. Do you have an astonishing faith? Do you have a faith that God would say, wow, holy moly, ugh. When was the last time you had an amazing faith like that? When you stood in awe and wonder of what God did? Because here's the thing. That same God is working now. We should be in awe right now, knowing that we're here. All the moving pieces that had to be moved to get you in this seat, that's God. So marvel and wonder at the things he does. Don't just go through this day and not worry about that. I'm going to give you guys some homework for two reasons. One, teachers, I want you to know how it feels. And students, for you guys too, I have the power and I have a podium and a clicker, so that's why I'm going to do this. I want you guys to keep your eyes peeled. That's it. I want you to keep your eyes open and witness the incredible works that God does every single moment of every single day. Don't get caught up in all the bad things that happen that amaze you, because that's going to keep on happening. That's not going to change. But the one thing that doesn't change that's important is God. The one who stays for you. The one you should be amazed at and marvel at. When I was a kid, and all those stories that I'd hear from my parents and VeggieTales, the best thing ever. Jonah got swallowed by a fish, and I was on the edge of my seat. I almost passed out. What? And now I read stories like that with cynicism, and now I read stories like that with not wonder like I used to. Don't lose that childlike wonder, because God is so wonderful. Beyond all human recognition and beyond all human understanding, that is your God. So don't forget that. Keep your eyes peeled and witness the works of God. Let's grab the hand next to you and let's pray. Father God, I thank you so much for this day. God, so much for the incredible God that you are, the way that you work, the way that you move, and the way that you do things that we should marvel at. God, I thank you for the hands that we're holding. God, hands that have been through a lot. God, hands that have sinned, hands that have held things up and helped. God, I pray that you move through these hands now. And you show the world what actual amazement looks like in the way that you move in us. Father, I thank you for the gift of your Son, who through we have a brand new life. Jesus, we pray, amen. There's also today where you guys can go and make a little difference today. You can go vote. And you can, yes, change things for the best you possibly can today. Go do that. But in the midst of all those things, don't forget, yes, we may live here. We may exist here. But don't think for 1 second we belong here. We don't. We belong with God, where the amazing things, where the wonderful things happen, and He's trying to make that happen now through you. So don't be amazed if things go wrong. Don't be amazed if the world falls apart and continues to go downhill, but be amazed that God is still here for you. To pick you up when you go down, to pick you up when you fall. That is incredible. So in all things, don't forget that wide-eyed wonder and keep your eyes peeled, because you'll see God do some amazing things. Love you guys.